For more than 50 years, Lionel Richie's music has been the soundtrack to love, heartbreak, and hope. From his early days with the Commodores to his record-breaking solo career, his songs connected generations. Yet behind the golden smile and effortless charm was a life few truly knew. Fans admired his calm, his grace, the way he seemed untouched by fame, but those close to him sensed a deeper story. At 76, Lionel Richie opens up about struggles, heartbreaks, and silent battles that shaped him. This is the untold story of the man behind the music. Tuskegee Roots, a dream, takes shape. Before sold-out arenas and global acclaim, Lionel Richie was a small-town boy from Tuskegee, Alabama. Surrounded by gospel, jazz, and soul, music was more than entertainment. It was a language of truth. At Tuskegee Institute, he discovered not only his voice, but also lifelong collaborators. These connections led to the formation of the Commodores, a band that defined an era with funk, soul, and timeless ballads. Richie's gift was his ability to infuse emotion into every lyric, transforming simple words into stories that lived in the hearts of listeners. His journey from Tuskegee to superstardom had begun. Commodores, early success, and rising tensions. By the early 1970s, the Commodores were a household name. Hits like Easy and 3 Times a Lady established Lionel as a songwriter and storyteller. Yet behind the hits, tension brewed. While the band leaned into funk and dance, Lionel's heart leaned towards soulful ballads. His perfectionism drove every note and lyric, but it also made him doubt himself. Success brought pressure, and the internal conflict grew. The band's trajectory clashed with his personal vision, and he faced a painful decision: to stay with the group that made him a star, or step into the unknown as a solo artist, solo stardom. A voice of love. Lionel's leap into a solo career became defining. Hits like Truly, All Night Long, and Hello weren't just songs, they were cultural moments. His music played at weddings, graduations, and even global humanitarian events. Every note he sang seemed to touch something universal. Yet behind the scenes, the perfectionist within him wrestled with exhaustion and anxiety. The fame he had chased became a weight. While the world saw charm and effortless brilliance, Lionel battled loneliness and pressure few could imagine. A silent struggle masked by his signature golden smile. The cost of fame, silence, and struggle. By the late 1980s, Lionel Richie's career had reached the pinnacle. Grammy Awards, platinum albums, and global recognition seemed unstoppable. Collaborations like We Are the World cemented him not only as a musician, but as a humanitarian voice. Still, his inner battles deepened. Exhaustion, anxiety, and perfectionism began to erode him. The man whose voice had brought comfort to millions felt isolated and fragile. Behind the laughter and applause, Lionel's life was marked by emptiness. The very stage that had celebrated him became a reminder of what he had lost: connection, peace, and a sense of self beyond the public image. A career in crisis, losing his voice. In 1990, Lionel faced a crisis that threatened his identity. His vocal cords, strained by years of relentless performance, failed him. Doctors warned him to rest or risk permanent damage. For a man whose life revolved around music, it was devastating. Tours were canceled, awards paused, and the stage went silent. At the same time, his marriage to Brenda Harvey dissolved, and tabloids amplified his private pain. Suddenly, Lionel Richie, the man who had defined an era, was alone, voiceless, and uncertain if he could ever reclaim his art or himself. The silence, a decade of reflection. For nearly 10 years, Lionel withdrew from the spotlight. The world thought he had disappeared, but behind the scenes, a quiet rebirth unfolded. Alone at the piano, he struggled to hum even a note. Recovery was slow and painful, forcing him to confront his obsession with perfection. Through silence, he discovered purpose beyond fame. His children, especially his daughter Nicole, became his anchor. Witnessing their growth reminded him that life was about connection, love, and legacy, not applause. Gradually, Lionel regained his voice, not just physically, but spiritually and emotionally, emerging stronger and wiser, a return with depth, rediscovering music. By the late 1990s, Lionel returned to the studio, his voice deeper, more soulful, and imbued with life's lessons. Albums like Louder Than Words marked a quieter comeback. No longer chasing chart-topping hits, he embraced honesty and vulnerability in his music. Each lyric reflected his journey, loss, love, and lessons learned. Fans noticed the difference. The polished performer of the 1980s became a storyteller, grateful simply to sing again. His music evolved from performance to reflection, connecting not through perfection, but through authenticity, reminding audiences why his songs had always resonated so profoundly. Rebuilding life. Family and faith. Lionel's comeback wasn't only musical. He devoted himself to rebuilding family relationships and guiding his children through life's challenges. Supporting Nicole as she navigated Hollywood became a source of joy and purpose. His faith, tested during the darkest years, grew stronger, shaping his perspective on fame, gratitude, and connection. He became active in mentoring, church, and philanthropy. Life was no longer measured by applause, awards, or chart positions, but by impact, love, and the lessons shared. Lionel Richie's story became one of endurance, humility, and rediscovered priorities. Mentorship and legacy. Sharing wisdom. When Lionel joined the American Idol judging panel in 2018, critics questioned his choice. For him, it was not about visibility, but giving back. Sharing lessons with young artists allowed him to pass on wisdom hard-earned through struggle. He reminded contestants that fame fades, but character lasts. Audience saw a new Lionel, kind, patient, and reflective. He was no longer a man defined by success, but by resilience. His mentorship echoed the values that sustained him through decades of highs and lows: faith, perseverance, and a commitment to truth and authenticity in both life and music. A life reclaimed. Joy in simplicity. Today, Lionel Richie lives with calm and presence. Morning walks, time at the piano, laughter with friends, and family moments define his days. He no longer chases validation or applause. Instead, he finds joy in the small, meaningful details of life. His music continues to touch hearts, not as a reflection of fame, but as an expression of truth. At 76, he embodies endurance and gratitude. Every note he sings now carries decades of experience, struggle, and insight. The golden voice remains, but behind it lies wisdom, earned through silence, setbacks, and rediscovery. Conclusion: the timeless legacy. Lionel Richie's story is not about charts or awards. It's about life itself. He has endured heartbreak, professional crises, and personal loss, only to emerge with a deeper understanding of purpose, love, and resilience. His music, timeless and heartfelt, mirrors his journey. At 76, he stands on stage with the same warm smile, now layered with wisdom and grace. More than a legend, Lionel Richie is a testament to the human capacity for recovery, reflection, and reinvention. His greatest song was never written for the charts. It was composed through life, struggle, and ultimately, acceptance.